Hargie, how are you?
Hi. Hello. How are you?
I'm good. And you?
I'm good too. So, how is your work today?
Uh, all is good.
Okay. It's all good. Okay. How did you manage your time?
Yeah, I today I didn't have any free time.
Wow. So, that's going to be a very fruitful day, right? Uh, Fruitful, tiring, but of course, very fulfilling, right?
Yeah,
Right. And if you don't know how to manage your time, so that would be a problem, right? But of
yeah,
course, you were able to finish the time or finish your work, and you were able to have a lot of things. You were able to accomplish a lot of things. And
yeah,
of course, I would have to say that you know how to manage your time properly, right?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so it's because of that that would be our lesson, right? So we are going to continue our lesson. It's all about time management. Okay,
yeah.
so are you ready for that, you?
Okay.
Yes, okay. So I'm going to share the presentation now. Okay, I hope you can see this one. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can.
Yes, okay, very good. Now, last time we're able to, of course, to have or some of the words, okay, as vocabulary, like for example, log. Okay, we had also
Mhm.
discussed about run errands, and we have
Yeah,
also estimate, and lastly we also end up with this particular word, which is
right.
prioritize. Okay, now this time we are going to continue with the word delegate.
Delegate,
Okay,
delegate.
now in delegation, what do you mean by this one, you? Or let's say, for example, applying your work in your company, how are you going to delegate the tasks? How did you delegate tasks to your employees or to your coworkers?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you do that? Since you are also handling people, right?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
delegation just mean, for example, general director, he's busy and he cannot attend sign the memorandum, for example. He requires the deputy general manager to attend and sign for him.
Yeah, okay. So that is one way or the other to delegate, let's say, for example, a task, right? So we have here an example. As a team leader, I delegate tasks to my other teammates so that we can finish the assignment on time. Okay, just what you had mentioned that, let's say, for example, the boss signed a memorandum, and then
Mhm.
that memorandum is to be addressed to everyone. Okay, so that is also one of the so-called black and white delegation or delegating tasks. Okay,
Mhm.
if you will not going to say that, okay, through let's say for example through in a meeting or through oral, of course you will going to put that one into writing, and we call that one as black and white, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, so that is also part of the so-called time management, because if you don't know how to delegate tasks, what do you think would happen to you?
Um, if I think you will um, overwork, and that means a lot of work. So
Yes.
you cannot finish the all the work you responsible for.
That's correct. That's why you need people. Okay, why is it a certain company hiring employees? Because you have your own task to do, right? So if you don't know how to delegate tasks to your employees, so what would happen to you? Okay, so you cannot finish the task on time, especially if your boss, or because there would be the so-called hierarchy of employees. So there would be the highest, okay, next to the highest one, the next two, and then after that going to the lowest one. So each of that hierarchy, they
Mm,
have the so-called responsibility to finish. Okay?
mhm,
Now,
mhm,
if you're in your certain, let's say for example, department, you are let's say in charge, or you are the head in that department, so you know how to delegate tasks so that you can be able to finish
mhm.
the tasks not just only within the period of time, but
Mhm.
maybe in advance,
Yep,
right? Because if
yep,
you know how to delegate tasks, you can be able to finish the task maybe in advance, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that would be appreciated by our boss if that work or that jobs will be done ahead of time. Okay? But if
Exactly.
you don't know how to delegate tasks, for sure, you will be late in the submission of your report. And that would serve as a demerits on your performance.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so that is delegate. Next, you. So what are the things or what are the words that we had able to understand in here? So we have
Law.
log,
Run
run
errand.
errands,
Estimate.
estimate,
Prioritize.
okay,
Delegate.
delegate, okay? Can you say estimate,
Estimate.
delegate,
Delegate.
prioritize?
Prioritize.
Okay, good job. Next. Now look at this one. So another idiom that we can be able to learn in this particular lesson, and it says beat the clock. Okay, the first idiom that we had learned was, what was that?
Better late. Better
Yes,
late
better
than
late
never.
than
Never.
never. So that means it's okay if you were late than
Yes.
you did not able to attend your work. Okay,
Yeah.
because maybe there would be some circumstances beyond control along the way. Let's say for example a traffic jam may be, and that would be understandable. So it's better to be late than never. Okay, now this
Yeah.
time we are going to study about the idiom beat the clock.
It's the
Okay, example: I beat the clock and delivered the project on time. Oh, look at that one. Okay, that is what we mean by outcome of
delegate.
delegating the task. So if you know how to delegate the task, you can be able to beat the clock. That means you can be able to meet the deadline. So other word for this one is meeting, sorry, okay, meeting the deadline ahead, okay, of time. Okay? So you were able to meet the deadline ahead of time. So that means it's not a problem anymore. That means you know how to budget your time. Right?
Yeah.
You? Okay,
Yeah.
so that's beat the clock. Okay? And this one is very important in uh, time management. Okay, because you can be able to do things also prior or not prior, but after you finish the time ahead or you finish your assignment ahead. Okay, let's say for example, the deadline would be on Friday, but you were able to beat the deadline, okay, to meet the deadline, finish already and submitted Wednesday, right? So that
Mhm.
means you
That's
are
me.
2 days ahead. So
Yeah.
what are you going to do with the 2 days after? So you can be able to do things also, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so that is how time management is all about. Do not say that, oh, I'm done already. I already beat the clock. I already meet the deadline ahead of time. So that means for 2 days, I will not going to work anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, actually, there are companies that if ever you were able to beat the clock or you were able to submit your report ahead of time, the their what is this one, uh not the punishment, of course their price for that is they can take a leave, right? A
Yeah.
leave with a leave with pay. So that
Yeah.
is one of their benefits also, right? Because
Yeah.
they finish on time. So the
Yeah.
company allows the employee to file leave with pay, right?
Mhm.
Okay. But there are only few of those company does that. Okay? What about your company? If you, let's say for example, if you were able to beat the deadline or beat the clock, did your company allowed you to have a break with pay?
No, no. If
Okay.
I beat the clock, my boss will give me another task.
See? Because that's work, okay? Only few companies does that one, okay? Okay. Next. We have here structure, okay? Structure U. Of course, I don't know how to say this because this one is in Vietnamese, but all we can say that if plus subject 1 plus had plus verb plus
Mhm.
subject 2 plus would have plus verb 3. Okay? So let's say, for example, what are we going to say? It is used about a real situation in the past expressing a regret over something you did.
Yeah.
Okay.
We call this sentence is the conditional sentence.
Yeah, okay. So like for example, if you had chosen to go on that road, you would have gotten home earlier. Okay? So what is that? If plus subject,
Right?
which is you, and
Yeah.
then had
Yeah.
plus the the
Three.
what? Okay. When we are
Is
talking of verb 3, we call that one past participle.
yeah.
Okay? So the
Yeah.
past participle of that, the present tense is choose. Okay? And then the past tense would be uh, chose. And then past
Chosen.
participle, chosen. Okay?
Yeah.
Same thing with this one. Would,
Mhm.
have, would have, plus past participle. So if
Yeah.
you had chosen to
To
go
go
on that road, you would
to
have gotten
able.
home earlier. Okay? Now, this one is positive statement. What about if you are going to do that in a negative statement? Okay, example. If we hadn't
Yeah.
hurried, we would have missed our flight.
Mhm.
Okay? So,
Yeah.
had not. Okay? So, had, and then after that, past participle. Actually, this one is contracted already. Contracted form from had not. So, this one
Okay.
is hadn't hurried. So, we would have missed our flight. Next. Like for example, if plus subject had a more detailed plan, she wouldn't have had any trouble meeting the deadline. So why do we need to use had? Okay,
Had.
because the past participle of have
Had. Yeah.
has, have, had.
Yeah.
Okay, so therefore, if you are going to use again the structure, if plus subject plus had plus past participle, okay,
Had.
that would be had. So therefore, had. Okay, a
Yeah.
more detailed plan. She wouldn't have
Would
had,
have had.
okay, any trouble meeting the deadline. Okay, you? That would
Okay.
be it. Okay, next. Use the structure you've learned to express your regret.
Hmm?
Okay, let's say, for example, your team failed to meet the deadline due to unfinished tasks. Using the following structure,
Yeah.
how are we going to do that?
Uh,
If, of course,
if
we have to
if
start at,
you
okay,
if you have
okay, for a while. Okay, if
if you
you
have
had,
had found
okay, past participle already. So if plus subject plus had,
had
okay,
and
okay,
verb
past. Let's say for example, because your team failed to meet. So that means if you,
if you had found
that would be negative. So if you had,
hadn't yeah
okay, if you hadn't,
hadn't
okay, failed.
found
Okay, if you hadn't, what's the past participle of fail? Failed. If you
found
hadn't fallen,
fallen yeah if you
okay,
hadn't
to
to meet
meet
the
the
deadline
deadline,
yeah
comma,
you
we,
would
of course,
be
that
yeah
includes you. So
mhm. We would have
we, so what would
would
be the next?
would
Okay, would,
have
had,
uh, unfinished
okay, we would had, okay,
unfinished
why unfinished?
um, you to
Okay, for a while, huh? Have, it should be have, would have, not had, okay?
yeah
It should have,
have
okay. So if you hadn't fallen to meet the deadline, we would have,
we would have to no we would have plus the verb
okay,
three
past
verb
participle, we
participle
would have, okay,
finished
okay, maybe done
yeah done or finished I
our
think so it's okay
tasks, right? Okay, look at this, huh?
sorry teacher Hazi when you type I cannot see anything
Ah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
screen
okay. Yeah, okay. So just for a while, huh? Our
yeah,
task. Okay. Oh, look at this now. Can you see it?
yeah okay
Yeah, look at this. Your team failed to meet the deadline due to unfinished tasks. So using the structure, we can say, if you hadn't, okay, if we, okay, so we are going,
if
because
we
that's,
yeah
that includes
if
you.
we
So if we hadn't fallen to meet
Poland
the deadline, we would have done our tasks. Okay, we
yeah,
can also put that one earlier. Okay,
okay
or we would have um, we would have done our tasks earlier. Okay?
Mhm.
Right?
I think we can replace done by finish. Okay?
Okay. Yes, we can also use that. Okay. We can also use finished, which is
Yeah.
already in the past tense.
Yeah.
Right?
Finish.
Okay.
Finish. Yeah.
Okay.
Finish.
So, we can also use that, huh? So, if we, just for a while, okay, look at this. If we hadn't fallen to meet the deadline, because your team failed, right?
Mhm.
To meet
Yeah.
the deadline, so due to unfinished tasks. So if
Yeah.
we hadn't fallen to meet the deadline, we would have done or we would have finished our tasks earlier,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Okay. Next, what about number two? You were late to work because you overslept. Okay.
Yeah.
So if
If you if you
you, so
uh,
you have to refer to yourself now.
yeah, if you if you
It should be I.
if
It should
you
be I
had,
because that would be yourself, right? If
okay,
I, yeah,
I had,
I, okay,
if
if
I had,
I hadn't, right? Because you
yeah,
were overslept. So if I hadn't,
overslept,
okay, overslept, comma,
yeah,
I
I
would
would
have,
have
okay, not, no, no. If I, no, if you were
negative.
late to work, yeah. So
I
I would have,
I would have um,
I would have, okay. What's
been
the, huh?
been been
I would have been,
been late to work.
okay. If I hadn't overslept, if you hadn't, okay? If you hadn't overslept, you will not been late. So
Yeah,
if I hadn't overslept, I would have been
been
early, right?
yeah,
For work.
early for work. Yeah,
Okay? Because
okay.
you hadn't overslept. But but you were overslept, that's why you were you
Um,
have
but
been you were late. Okay?
yeah,
Now, we can also use another sentence. Okay? Like for example, I have to put it in here, huh? You. Okay, let's say for example, if I had
I had
if I had uh
had um,
I had woke up early,
early. Yeah, woke up
okay,
early.
I would have
I would
I if
have
okay, I would have
I would
haven't, okay? I would have went
been
late,
late.
hadn't. Okay, it should be have no, have not or haven't. Okay, haven't. Late.
Haven't
Okay, late
haven't
for,
been late. I
yeah,
think
haven't
it.
late for work.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, haven't been late for work. Okay. So
Yeah.
look at this. Another one. If I had woke up early, I would haven't been late for work. So
Yes, it's okay.
that's also accepted, right? Uh, because when he or she woke up early, right? So
Mhm.
she wouldn't have been late for work. Okay? Or we can also say, if I hadn't overslept, I would have been early for work. Right?
Sorry,
Okay.
teacher Haji.
Yes.
I wouldn't or I would have not.
Al- Have not or haven't.
Yeah, I have not. That mean I want
I
to
would haven't.
put not after would. It's okay.
Yeah, it's accepted. Okay. I
Yeah.
would have not been late for work. Okay.
Can I? No, I mean, can I say I wouldn't have been late for work?
Yeah, you can also say that. Okay. I wouldn't been late for work.
Yeah.
Oh, but we have to use only be. I wouldn't be late for work.
Okay.
Okay? If that would be the case, you, huh?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
woken. Okay, sorry, huh? It's woken because it's past participle. So if I had woken up early, I wouldn't be late for work. Okay? But if you are going to use I would
Because if
haven't
you
again,
see in the example three, if
mhm,
she had a more detailed plan, she wouldn't have had any trouble meeting to deadline.
okay. So,
Um, you can back to slide number 12.
okay, this one.
Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah,
yes,
it can also be like this, okay?
yeah,
But it's also accepted like this.
yeah.
Okay? Yeah, so
Okay,
wouldn't have had. Okay? Or wouldn't be late. Okay, let's try this one, huh? Another one. Actually, in English, we can be able to do a lot of what is one sentences which is similar. The meaning is similar,
yeah,
but
okay,
sometimes the use of the verb. Okay. So
yeah.
if I had woken up early, I wouldn't have had late for work, right?
Mm,
I wouldn't have
because
had late work.
the
So
structure here is after comma subject to plus would have plus verb participant.
yes, okay.
Yeah,
So subject after that would be would, but if
yeah,
that would be negative, so it would be wouldn't, would not. Then after that, would
have,
have. Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
and
So we
verb
have
three.
to follow. We have to follow the have instead
Yeah,
of be. Okay.
yeah.
Okay, but this one is also accepted you.
Okay,
But if
okay.
we are
So,
going to follow our
okay.
structure, this one would be more correct. Okay, so if
Yeah,
I had woken up early, I wouldn't have had late for work.
okay.
Okay, so have had, so it should be had, right?
Have.
If we are going to follow that. But it should be have, not had. Okay, so
Yeah,
the computer corrected this one. Okay,
yeah. Okay.
so let's say this one, I
Have.
would have
Yeah, would have.
would have had. Okay, okay, so if I hadn't overslept, I would have had early for work. Okay, so this is accepted also.
Okay,
Okay, yes.
okay.
Next, what about this one? You couldn't attend the party because you had to work overtime. So how
Yeah.
are we going to do that?
If I
Okay,
if
continue. Okay, what else? What's that? You, if I,
I had
okay, if I had,
um working work work
okay, woken,
Yeah, working overtime.
Working overtime. If I had
If
no,
I had work.
no, if you were you couldn't attend no. If you had not, right? If I hadn't
Um,
worked,
I mean, if I had worked overtime,
okay,
I wouldn't have
I
attend
would have had
attend the party.
ended attended
Attended the party.
the
Party.
party.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I hadn't worked overtime,
Mm.
I would have attended the party, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So if I hadn't worked overtime, I would have attended the party. So that would be correct. Okay?
Okay. Mm.
Next, what about this?
You missed the
You missed the premiere of Mat Biet because you mistook the time. Mat Biet is what? Is it in Vietnam? That's a
I don't know the meaning.
you don't know. Okay, anyway. So you missed the premiere of Mat Biet because you mistook the time. So how are we going to say that? Okay, if I hadn't
If I hadn't
mistaken the time, right?
taken the time.
Yes, okay. So if I hadn't mistaken the time.
It's taken the time. I
Yes.
I would have
So if I hadn't mistaken the time, I would have,
have
I would have,
missed.
okay, no, if I hadn't mistaken the time, I would have not,
Uh, you
I,
can the first phrase you use the positive. If
okay, so we
I
can say if I
if I
had,
had
okay,
taken the time,
okay, I would
I
haven't.
would have missed the premiere of Madbit.
Okay, no. Look at this. If I had mistaken the time, because you miss the premiere of Matbit because you mistaken the time.
Yeah.
So if you had not mistaken the time, you were not able to miss the premiere of Matbit. Okay? So
Yeah.
let's exchange. Let's say for example, if I hadn't missed the premiere of Matbit, I would
I
have.
I would have.
No, it's not. So it should be if I hadn't mistaken the time because she mistaken the time. That's why she missed the premiere of the Matbit,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So if I
Mis-
hadn't, if
mistaken the time is the reason why
he wasn't
I missed
able,
the premiere.
yes. So that's why we have
That's
to
it.
use negative here, right? Because if
Okay.
he hadn't, if he or she hadn't mistaken the time, he would have not missed the
Yeah.
premiere of Macbeth, right? So if
Yeah.
I hadn't mistaken the time,
Mm.
so I would have, or I wouldn't miss the Macbeth. Okay?
Okay.
Miss only. Okay? Okay, so look at this. I wouldn't have had missed. Oh, it should be have and missed. Okay, past tense already. Okay. So if I had mistaken the time, I wouldn't have missed the math bit. Okay, you?
Okay.
What do you think? Look at look at our sentence.
If I hadn't mistake the time,
I
I
wouldn't
would.
have missed the
Yeah.
math bit,
Yeah.
right?
It's
Okay,
okay.
so that would be it. Okay,
Okay.
so that is how you are going to use the structure. So what's the structure again? The use of the
If
if plus the subject plus the had plus the past participle subject to again plus would have plus the past participle. Okay, you?
okay.
Okay, so we are going to continue our lesson tomorrow. Okay, so we will be going to have listening part tomorrow. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
So
Bye
thank
bye.
you so much. See you again tomorrow, you. Bye-bye. Okay, bye-bye.